So for our final talk this morning, we've got Steve here, who's going to talk about the state of nature in Sherwood.
Yeah, afternoon everyone. The astute amongst you will have noticed that I'm not Louise Hackett from the Woodland Trust. Louise rang me at 7:30 this morning to say she was poorly, so I'm her understudy. This is my bit in the spotlight. We've got 10 minutes. I know you've got thoughts of lunch, but bear with us for 10 minutes. And I'm here to talk to you about the State of Nature in Sherwood Report 2023, which follows on nicely from a couple of the presentations we've heard this morning, Tim's earlier on, and also Adrian's that has just been, we've just heard. So I'm the scheme manager, Steve Little, and scheme manager of the Miners the Major scheme, the landscape partnership that's in the Sherwood Forest area, supported by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, which we've sort of heard about Tim mentioning in his project. It's really nice to hear both that project and the saprophylax that the project funded. I'm also vice chair of the Sherwood Habitat Strategy Group, and that's a network of organisations, groups and individuals working in the Sherwood National Character Area, working strategically at a landscape scale for the benefit of nature. So Lou is the chair of the Habitat Strategy Group, and I'm the vice chair, hence her sort of handing over to me to do this piece of work. Very handily, Adrian showed a much better mapper actually than this of the National Character Area, so that sort of, I won't repeat too much of that, sort of going up from Nottingham to up to Worksop area. If you want to know more about the National Character Areas, just search for that on a search engine, and the Natural England website has got a lot of detail on that, and if you haven't seen those before, really worth having a look at that. So again, as has been mentioned before, Sherwood was relatively undisturbed. It was a royal hunting forest, which gave it its name. But it's seen huge changes over the last 200 years, which has resulted in a lot of loss of habitat. And what remains is special, and partly due to that sort of continuation from those times. Oh, there's the overlay of the National Character Area. Because this is not my presentation, there may be a few surprises. So we've heard a little bit about the sort of threats to nature through some of the presentations that we've had this morning, and that's why it's important to understand that sort of collective state of nature. And this is a report that has been published by the Sherwood Habitat Strategy Group, the State of Nature in Sherwood 2023. It's the second edition of this, so there was an original that was published in 2016. So this is the updated, or the second edition. This is what it looks like as a hard copy. These are quite rare, because they're quite expensive, so we haven't got a lot of these, but what we have got is a nice QR code that links to a report that's a flipbook online, so you can actually read it as a flipbook, which is quite nice to read. And there's also a copy of the report on the Knotsbag website as well, and a little bit of information about it. So the report itself includes overview of habitats. It's got species recording, updates on priority and notable species. It's got updates on efforts to control invasive species, and it also features a range of case studies as well, and again from a lot of the areas that we've heard about today. I'm not going to go through it in detail, because come and sort of see. We've got it out on one of the stalls outside, and we've got a copy of the report there, and you can come and have a look at it there. I can't overstate this, but producing it was a huge effort, and a huge collective effort, and a lot of those people involved are here today as well. So I'm not going to go through individual thanks, but there's particular thanks to someone called Frank Lucas. I don't know if Frank's here today, but Frank, basically we commissioned him to actually play a coordinating role, or that classic kind of herding cats role. But literally it was a huge collective effort from across the area. Because we're talking about invertebrates today, Lou had included some sort of information about three species that are important in the Sherwood area, but also some of the challenge that they face as well. So the Welsh clearwing, first recorded in 2008, and since there has been growing in numbers and records across multiple sites. Nationally, it's rare, but may already be facing challenges from extreme heat, something we're likely to experience increasingly more of. You have to excuse me because I'm just reading from notes here. I'm not a species expert, so. The Midas tree weaver, few records despite recorder efforts, so a good example of a species that's present but little understood in terms of both that kind of distribution and abundance. And the cardinal click beetle, so one of the stars of the show when it comes to the saprosylic beetle community, and a good sort of natural follow-on from Adrian's presentation. And that community of saprosylics that makes Sherwood a very special place for nature, ranking 6th in the country for its ecological continuity. These species represent a precious link back to a time when our landscape would have been a more old-growth features, and we're also unique in having a combination of both the southern population of those species and the northern, with us being in a central position. The report. So these are some of the key findings of the report. So I'm not going to read them as they are, but that's sort of, an important landscape. The impacts of that loss, the impacts on the area, the action that takes place, and that sort of collective action, the importance of that action takes place. And although it shows trends, there's still a lot that we don't understand. It's only got that sort of partial understanding, and that sort of, again, the collective effort, this report, but that role that a huge amount, a lot of people have to play in that process. And the last one is the reports. It's sort of a next step in the way of us getting a clearer information and understanding about the state of nature at a landscape scale in Sherwood Forest. It's not perfect, and it's still in its evolution. And if we want to truly understand the change over time, both that positive change and negative change, we need to build some sort of framework for monitoring both distribution and abundance. And that will be the next step for the Sherwood Habitat Strategy Group, and something that we need everyone's help with. Thank you for listening.